Hello, welcome everyone, and welcome to Start Your Dungeons. I'm Bryce.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about something a little bit different from what we normally do because we have all played I guess it's kind of a newer product that's been released, the Wolves of Langston solo 5th edition adventure, which was created by Obvious Mimic. And yeah, we're just going to kind of talk about it because we think it was a really cool product. It was something kind of different from what we normally do, and we're just going to kind of go through and talk a little bit about it. So to start things off, for those of you who don't know what Wolves of Langston is, it's an adventure, solo, completely, for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It gets you from level 1 to level 3. It's about 6 chapters with an epilogue. It's about 95 pages. It's available as, we played it as a PDF version, but also available as a print version on their website. But let's kind of go in. We're going to talk about a few things. So I want to start off with, how easy do you guys think it was to get started with this product?
I thought it was very easy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just because I'm an experienced 5th edition player, but I mean, I actually made my character in Roll20. If you don't know what Roll20 is, it's a virtual tabletop website program, and have my character sheet pulled up, and I mean, I just started reading and started playing.
Yeah, I would say it's stupid proof. I went to D&D Beyond, their web app, and grabbed one of their pre-gen characters and just went straight into it like I'd never played D&D before. And I think the intro explanation of what's a role-playing game and how are you going to go about this is really well thought out.
Right. Yeah. I would agree with that too. I think one of the things that I really like is someone who is experienced with 5th edition. It was a really good kind of, here's how you get into playing a role-playing game, but also it said, hey, if you have played, here's kind of how you take those things that you're used to doing as a group and do them as a solo kind of side for it. And yeah, I just thought it was really well done. We talked about characters. What kind of character did you actually play for this one?
I did a human cleric.
Okay.
I grabbed the Elf Ranger that's a pre-gen on the website.
So I'm special. I built a wisdom-based fighter that was all about using shillelagh.
And this is why you die.
Yeah. I died once.
Yeah.
But I've had this character pre-built for a long time, and the idea was it was a knight who lost her father, and her father now his spirit is in her weapon. Mm-hmm. So it was cool. It was interesting. I definitely think I should have almost done the pre-gen route though, actually, because I think it would have been more interesting. Because I was definitely weirdly statted, I think, for it. Let's talk about the overall product. For this, again, it is a solo adventure where you're going through, and we won't go too deep into the actual story because we want you guys to all experience for yourself. Right. But let's talk about some things we liked and both disliked about the product.
I like that it, it plays out like any choose your own adventure kind of book, like in the episode that we discussed, the Call of Cthulhu starter box. It's very similar to that, and the way that it handles skill checks is just, hey, if you get higher than this number, then this is what happens. If you get lower than this number, then this is what happens, and you just go down the branching path. It's very simple.
Yeah, it reminded me of those old Hero Quest novels or Choose Your Own Adventure style books that I remember from a kid. And once you're hitting that tone, you might as well just take my money.
Yeah. And I think what's cool is I played it specifically on a computer, but the one when you buy it, it comes in both an EPUB and a PDF form. And what's cool is when you choose to do something and it says go to 78 or 124 if you fail, if you click on 78, it jumps you straight to that, which I appreciate that as a person who, from a non-physical book version of it, it's easier than constantly just flicking my scroll up and down kind of wheel for it. So.
I did the same. It was just on my computer. You just click it, and it jumps, and it was great.
Right. And what I think is really nice is that there's a bunch of different ways that you can kind of play the game, which was nice where there were some times where it would say, you have to jump on something. Make an athletics check. If you can do it magically, go to this section.
Yeah.
If your race has wings, go to this section. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really cool that they actually really tried to make sure that all the options a player character has are available for you to kind of pick and choose. And I really enjoyed that. Was there anything you didn't like kind of about the whole book?
Really, my only gripe was that it probably needed to go through one last round of editing, just like another person reading through, because there were a couple of very small things that I would fix, but I mean, part of that's because I teach writing, so maybe I don't know, maybe just my teacher radar was going off, but other than that, no.
Yeah. I think my complaints are going to be pretty similar to any solo RPG product. One is that combat is always going to be the least interesting part of that whole experience, because you're rolling dice on a table against yourself and really just taking numbers down.
Yeah.
But I think that's baked in.
Right.
The other thing, it's hard to... I appreciate that they chose different kinds of skills to use as opposed to the standard go-to perception, stealth, whatever.
Yeah.
But what you lose without having a real DM there, I think, is choosing skill checks based on a really particular situation. So you're always going to be rolling over 10 or over 15.
Right.
And that kind of hampers you in. But
Yeah.
I think those are just part of the actual form that it's in.
Right. I think that is hard too, because I know my character had a +5 in perception, and so it was really difficult when it was like, you need a 10 or higher in this perception check. I was like, I'm gonna make this 90% of the time, which changed my adventure for me in a way that sometimes I wish it was maybe a little bit more difficult. And you can maybe force it on yourself at times to kind of say, like, if I'm gonna get this little extra bonus thing, maybe it's gonna take me a little more effort. In terms of overall time it took you to play, how long did it take you to do this? Because it like I said, it is 6 chapters, but it's pretty quick once you actually get going.
I think each one I spent maybe 30 minutes per chapter.
Okay.
Like maybe 20, 30 minutes.
I'd agree, yeah. I did a chapter and then set it down, and a chapter and set it down, because I wanted to savor it, but maybe half an hour each chapter.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree with that. I think certain parts of the adventures I got deeper into. Like, I feel like there's some characters you meet, and one of them is like the herbalist, and I feel like the herbalist one was very quick. Yeah. But then when you meet a cleric, that one was a much longer one in the church kind of storyline, which was really good. But I think it was kind of depended, but it was definitely around like the 30-minute mark, I think. In total, it's like 2 or 3 hours, which is honestly nice, I think, for a solo adventure that really, at time of recording, it's only $15. I feel like that's kind of a really good value of your time.
If you think about, books that are in that format that aren't necessarily, typical role playing with dice, but, the choose your own adventure kinds of books, you'll get through one of those to an ending in half that time. Right. I mean, 10 minutes and it's like, you're dead and you've got to start over. Another 10 minutes, you're dead again. So I agree. I think you get a lot of value out of this because the format keeps pushing you forward for longer.
I actually wanted to talk about that as a maybe not a negative, but a way that I kind of was disappointed. There was a moment where you had a choice between killing and not killing somebody, and for my character, I said you would probably kill this person, and it said you lose, and I was a little bit disappointed that. I get some of those things where it's like, if you lost this combat, you died. Yeah. That is what happened. But there was a story moment when I went, I'm really disappointed it didn't let me choose to make that action and be okay with it. It was just like, you lost. Right. Which, again, I'm not against necessarily, but I don't want to be, if this is a choose my own, I don't want to be pushed into one way of thinking sort of with it.
Just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a human GM, they can adjust as they go. But as it's published material, it is what it is.
Right. So one thing you mentioned, Adam, was talking about when we talked about the Call of Cthulhu starter set, we talked about how that solo adventure is really a good way to get you into learning the game. Would you, if someone said, I want to get into 5th edition, recommend this as a way to kind of learn the game?
I mean, what do you think, Rob?
Yes. For whatever reason, the last couple of years, I've had a number of people ask me, "Hey, I don't know anything about D&D. How do I play?" And most of those people, if I hand them the book or send them to the website, they just shut down. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to try to take in at once, and it looks like this is just too much effort for a hobby I might not be interested in. If I could hand them this PDF and say, "Hey, check this out. We've all got that touch point of choose your own adventures from our childhoods," and it gets them through just the basics, man, that's worth every penny.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's fun.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's really the big thing, like you said, Rob, is instead of me going, well, here's a massive how to build a character thing, I go, here's a solo adventure, here's a pre-gen. Run with this, and if you enjoy it, we can talk more about it. But that way you're not overloading. I think that is something that a lot of role-playing games maybe have an issue with, is giving you way too much information at the beginning to understand, and this way you can go, hey man, this is going to take 2 or 3 hours of your time. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep going. But if you really do, go ahead, check it out.
There's very little buy-in for this,
Right?
It's, and if you've got a free dice roller app or something like that, you don't even have to have dice.
Yeah, I mean, not at all. So that kind of wraps it up for this one. Again, kind of a short one, but again, we don't want to ruin a whole lot of it because we definitely.
It's hard to go spoiler free on this one because there's a lot of really cool story elements. So just check it out. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment down below and tell us what you thought. But keep it spoiler free for the people who haven't tried it.
Right. So I guess that's your way of saying I recommend this product.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely play more of this company's products. I think they're a good purchase.
Yeah, as soon as I got a hold of the PDF copy, I went to their website, took a look at what they're doing. They launched, and is it closed now or is it still open?
They
their
just
Kickstarter?
finished their Kickstarter for their new.
I think you can late pledge though.
Yeah, I think you can late pledge. It's called Crystals of. I forget the exact name for it, but the one I'm really excited about for that one is it's not just this one. Like I said, only goes to level 3. This is supposed to be like a whole level 1 to 10, 15 levels like campaign. So it's a big campaign book that you can actually play with as solo, which I think is important now because looking back at us coming through the pandemic, a lot of people got into role-playing games as a way to connect with their friends online and do stuff. And, some of those ways that they no longer have maybe have access to because we're back to having jobs and all different kinds of things. This is a way to keep playing that game and kind of have that different opportunity. But I definitely would recommend this book.
Yeah, and I would say that, my best recommendation is that I like the product. There's not much else that's like it out there on the market already, and I would buy something else from them almost without question.
And I think it speaks to where I think this one, like you said, there's not a lot like it because a lot of what we're seeing for solo role-playing is here's how you generate it and here's some tables and how you make it yourself and then run it yourself.
Yeah.
This is the book will run it for you instead of you having to do the prep and kind of build, which for me, it's just not for me. I'm not looking for that in a solo book. So this to me, like you said, is a product that's not really out there.
Yeah.
So, well, we hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you want to, you can go check it out. They have both physical and PDF copies available on their website. Oh, and another cool thing that they have on there is free GM virtual tools, which you can download for free. And they're a map and tokens that you can use in like a PDF or Word to play the combat scenarios.
Nice.
It's very, very cool, actually.
We'll make sure to leave links for that in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. But we hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, it is on the Wolves of Langston 5e solo adventure. Check it out. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Bye.